Organizations spend millions of dollars building digital fortresses. They deploy heavy-duty firewalls, multi-factor authentication, and complex encryption. But these defenses mean little if an attacker can simply walk straight to the server. If an unauthorized person gains direct, hands-on access to a piece of hardware, they can almost always bypass its digital controls. They don't need to spend months trying to crack a network password from across the globe if they can plug a tiny piece of rogue hardware straight into an exposed port. Cybersecurity truly begins at the hardware level. Every digital defense assumes that physical access to the device is controlled and restricted. To see how easily this foundation cracks, picture a college library. A student is working on a major research project and decides to step away to grab a coffee. They figure they'll only be gone for 2 minutes. In those 2 minutes, they leave behind an open, unlocked laptop screen. Their student ID badge is sitting right next to the trackpad, and they've left printed copies of sensitive financial aid documents face up on the desk. That simple desire for convenience, saving a few seconds by not locking the screen or packing up the bag, which translates directly into catastrophic digital exposure. Let's break this down using the vocabulary of cybersecurity. The student's private data, their accounts, and the hardware itself are the assets. That open screen in the abandoned ID card, those are vulnerabilities, flaws or weaknesses in how those assets are protected. A vulnerability by itself is just a gap in the armor, but if you introduce a threat, a malicious actor walking through the library looking for an easy target, you get the core equation of the discipline. You take that vulnerability, multiply that by the threat, and the result is risk. Without the malicious actor, the unlocked laptop is just a bad habit. But the moment a threat enters the physical space, that bad habit becomes a critical risk. The primary defense against these scenarios isn't software, it's user responsibility, the active human choice to recognize a vulnerable environment and secure it. Imagine another student notices the abandoned, unlocked computer. Seeing a stranger hovering too close to the desk, they reach over and close the laptop. In the physical world, your awareness and willingness to intervene often serve as the most effective intrusion detection system you have. Attackers rely on human behavioral patterns to gain access to restricted spaces. One common method is tailgating, where an unauthorized person slips through a secure door right behind an employee. If the employee actually holds that door open out of politeness, that's known as piggybacking. Once inside, they don't even need to touch a machine to steal data. Shoulder surfing is exactly what it sounds like, an attacker simply standing nearby and observing a screen or watching a user type their password. If the target throws away physical notes, printed emails, or sticky notes with passwords without shredding them, an attacker can just dig through the trash. This tactic is called dumpster diving. Breaking a modern encryption algorithm takes supercomputers and years of processing time. Asking someone to hold the door open takes 5 seconds and a friendly smile. If a physical attacker decides to just steal a device, the situation escalates immediately. Once they take a laptop or a server drive back to their own lab, they can rip the data from the hard drive at their own pace, entirely offline and completely invisible to network monitoring. Even if they leave the hardware where it is, an exposed USB or network port is an open door. An adversary can install a hardware keylogger to capture every keystroke, or plug in a malicious flash drive that automatically runs destructive scripts to take control of the machine, all beneath the operating system's radar. By putting their hands on the machine, the attacker bypasses the software defenses entirely and weaponizes the hardware against itself. All of these threats map directly to the core goals of cybersecurity, known as the CIA triad. Physical privacy screens and shredding documents protect confidentiality. Lock-in server rooms and blocking unused ports preserves data integrity, and preventing hardware theft or keeping backup power running ensures availability. This diagram illustrates a strategy called defense in depth, where security is built in overlapping layers to protect the data at the top. Notice the base of this structure. The physical perimeter, the locks, security guards, and cameras, literally holds up the network, device, and application layers. Look at the yellow box surrounding everything, policy and governance. These overarching rules dictate how we behave across every single layer. A good security policy mandates both the digital rules, like requiring strong passwords, and the physical rules, like demanding a clean desk or prohibiting tailgating. If the physical layer fails, internal software defenses must face an adversary who already has unrestricted access to the machine. You can start mitigating this risk immediately with a few behavioral changes. Lock your screen every single time you step away. Keep your ID badge out of sight when you leave the building. And if you don't recognize someone trying to follow you through a secure door, politely ask to see their badge. And for the moments when physical loss does happen, we rely on technical safety nets. Enabling full disk encryption ensures that if a laptop is stolen, the data remains unreadable garbage to the thief. Maintaining secure off-site backups guarantees that even if the hardware is destroyed, the data survives. A robust defense relies on human habits to prevent the breach in the first place, and technical fail-safes to mitigate the damage if they do. We've seen that physical access easily bypasses digital controls. Unattended assets are open invitations to adversaries, and the most common attacks exploit human courtesy and routine rather than complex code. Take a second to test yourself. Do you remember the difference between tailgating and piggybacking? Can you spot the risk of an unlocked asset? And do you know why full disk encryption matters when a laptop goes missing? Cybersecurity doesn't stop at the edge of your glowing screen. True security starts with the physical world around it.